Good afternoon, everyone. Treasure Troller here. Welcome to another edition of Small Town Murders, not the podcast. Today's vlog, we are in Ludington, Michigan. We are outside this Holiday Inn. I just wanted to start it here because the Holiday Inn plays a small bit in today's vlog. But before we actually start the vlog, I need to thank a few people because without them, their help, their assistance, this never would have gotten off the ground. So first and foremost, I want to thank Penny's roommate Sheila for giving me a lot of insight into things that were happening kind of outside the case. The Mason County Clerk's Office for digging up 45-year-old court transcripts for this vlog. I want to thank my friend Russ, former classmate, who really helped me with some of the specific locations for this vlog. He lived in the general area. And last but not least, I want to thank Dave Bostic at the Ludington Daily News for providing some of the photos for this vlog. We filmed things a little different this time. I hope you enjoy the vlog. So let's get started. 19-year-old Penny Smogoleski was a cocktail waitress at the local Holiday Inn. On the very early morning, approximately 2 a.m., Penny left work and made the short trip home. She lived in a trailer with two other girls, Darcy and Sheila. At approximately 4 o'clock in the morning, Darcy came home and she knew immediately that something was amiss. Penny's car was in the driveway. Penny had removed her work uniform. It was laying in her room. Her heating blanket was on. But Penny was nowhere to be found, and neither was Penny's pink house coat. She waited up for Penny. She never came home. She fell asleep for a while. She got up. Penny still had not gotten back, and that's when Sheila and Penny began looking. Sheila and Darcy, began looking for Penny. And 6 o'clock in the evening is when they filed the missing persons report. And that's when law enforcement got involved in trying to find Penny. Now, I just want to go over something real quick. Like I said, this was January 7th. On the 6th, approximately a foot of snow had fallen. Although that very early morning, the snow may have diminished a little bit. It was still, with the wind, it was still blowing and drifting snow. With the wind chill factor, it was close to 0 outside. And by all accounts, Penny would have left the house in nothing but a house coat and maybe a pair of panties. So the missing persons investigation lasted until February 27th, when Penny's body was found in the ditch here on Johnson Road. It's approximately 3.5 miles from Penny's home. Now back then this road was all gravel, but you can still get a little bit of a feel for the ditch. I think from the picture this is almost the view, so possibly where the mailboxes would have been located. I'm basing it on the telephone pole on the right side. But according to the police reports, the ditch was about 4 feet down off the level of the road. And as you can see, this is still a rather deep ditch. There was approximately 18.5 inches of water in it. Penny was found wearing a pink bathrobe and panties. So during the missing person investigation, everyone was cleared except one person that police had really suspected had something to do with Penny coming up missing, and now Penny found dead. And that was Joe Matthews, who was a friend to the three girls, and also he was the roommate of Penny's boyfriend, Mike. So the two reasons that law enforcement had really zeroed in on Joe was, first, he was quite possibly the last person to see Penny alive. And through the course of the 7 weeks of the missing persons investigation, the two roommates, the boyfriend and Joe, had been subjected to each of them subjected to 3 polygraph examinations. And Joe was never able to pass his. So they were fairly certain that Joe had something to do with Penny's disappearance and then finding Penny dead. Now, the coroner report labeled Penny's death due to exposure, and there was also something else that the coroner identified on Penny's body. So news traveled pretty quick in this small town about the discovery of a body on Johnson Road. So police or law enforcement did release information, basic information about the body. But what they didn't release from the coroner's report was that Penny had several small stab or puncture wounds on her body. Now, according to the coroner, the deepest one was approximately an inch thick. None of the wounds themselves could be, or he would consider, fatal, nor all of them combined would he have considered fatal. But no one really knew about the wounds except for, well, the coroner, law enforcement, and of course Joe, because soon after the release of the information that the body had been recovered, he called Sheila and told her that they had found Penny, and he had told her about the stab wounds as well. So that meant police needed to once again talk to Joe. That happened on the 13th of April when he met the sheriff's detective and a detective from the Michigan State Police here at the Mason County Jail. And they took him to the Holiday Inn, the place where Penny had worked, and they put him through an 11-hour interrogation, complete with polygraph. At the end of the 11 hours, Joe was free to go. But he told them that he wanted to meet them the next evening at Penny's trailer. And that's where he gave them a more accurate account of the evening, or the evening events. He signed a statement, and he was brought up on charges of open murder. So it's time to go to trial. So after giving the sheriff's department his statement on the 14th, Joe was arraigned on open murder charges, and his pretrial and like 1 day of actual trial took place here in this courtroom. During the pretrial, Joe's attorney brought up a few issues regarding Miranda rights, if he was given his rights, considering he was talking with the sheriff's detective and the state police interviewer. There was a question whether or not if he was sort of being held out at the hotel against his will, considering he was there for 11 hours of polygraph and being interrogated, whether or not he could leave on his own accord. And there was also a little bit of a issue with the detective, the Mason County detective, telling him that, boy, if you just kind of come clean, I'll go to bat for you. I'll try to help you as much as I can. So there was, I guess you could say, a little bit of a question of collusion and whatnot. But the judge saw fit to send the trial to circuit court and allowed the open murder charges to stand. So in his opening day of his murder case, pretty much the same witnesses were brought forth as there were in the pretrial. The detectives, the coroner, who once again, cause of death was exposure, and Penny's roommate, Sheila. So like I said, the court, his trial only lasted about a day because Joe decided to take a plea. Joe pled guilty to manslaughter. And of course, part of his plea was his allocution of the crime. And so that's kind of where the story begins for what's more than likely the last couple hours of Penny's life. So it's 2 o'clock in the morning, or a little after 2. Penny arrives home. This is the trailer that Penny, Sheila, and Darcy lived in. Now, according to court testimony, Penny's boyfriend Mike was supposed to show up here after Penny got home from work, but he had left his place with Joe, their house south of Ludington, and actually decided, because he was very grubby from work and he hadn't cleaned up, he elected not to come to Penny's house, instead stay at his sister's, which is actually a half a mile down the road from here. He actually had to pass Penny's house to get to his sister's. But after 2 a.m., Joe showed up here at the trailer. And according to his allocution, he was there because he and Penny had dated sometime earlier. He was there to talk to her, to convince her that they should get back together. They had, Penny was very upset with this. She got angry with him. They had words. And then things got physical. Now, according to Joe, while he was talking with her, he had this little pen knife out. He was kind of cleaning his nails. And then when things got physical between the two, he had actually stabbed her a few times with this pen knife. Penny ran out of the trailer and Joe followed her. And Penny is down in the driveway and she's hollering at Joe. And at this point in time, Joe says, well, he realized that he's kind of done something wrong. He realizes that he's messed up a little bit, and he tries to coax Penny to come back into the trailer. He apologizes. He wants to get her back in the trailer. He starts moving towards her. Penny doesn't take too kindly to that, and Penny bolts off through the woods. And Joe follows her for a little bit, and then he loses track of her. So Joe then comes back to the trailer. He gets into Penny's car, and he heads east on Rasmussen Road here to the next location where he said he found Penny. So Joe gets in Penny's car and he's driving east on Rasmussen Road looking for Penny. About a mile down the road is Myers Road, which is this road right here. The intersection of Rasmussen and Meyer is probably a mile, looking back that way about a mile. So 45 years ago, this was all gravel. Joe drove the car down Myers Road, and he would have stopped right here, and they called it back then an intersection because Myers Road ended here. And this, although it's nice and paved, was nothing more than a 2-track back then. Myers Road, going to the south off Rasmussen, ends at the Mason County Airport. So anyways, Joe drives down to this intersection and gets his car stuck. When he gets the car unstuck, he notices Penny on the road about 60 yards away. So since this was a road and this was a 2-track, I'm thinking he's got his car unstuck. He's facing north on Myers Road. Penny comes out down the road. He goes down. They have some words. He's trying to convince her to get in the car. He's trying to physically put her in the car. Joe says he's not sure how she ended up in the car, but Penny was momentarily in the car. And then she jumped out. She went into the woods, and Joe never saw her again. So, to kind of put some things into perspective, Penny's trailer is approximately 1 mile northwest of here. At least, I guess. So she would have traveled at least a mile through the woods to get to this road. She would have jumped back out of the car into this woods, and they found her. She would have went through another 2 miles of woods and then ended up another half mile down the road in the ditch dead. She did this all in near 0-degree weather in a house coat and panties. But this is where Joe says he saw Penny for the last time. Joe pleads guilty to manslaughter. He gives his allocution explaining what happened that early morning of January 7th. And he is sentenced to 3 to 15 years in prison for his responsibility of the crime. And here is Penny's final resting place. So it is about it. I do have a section I'm adding on to the end of this for some of the just a little something I found during the investigation. So I hope you watch that. And once again, I would like to thank everybody that helped put this vlog together. This is Treasure Troller saying aloha and good day. Okay, I know what some of you may be thinking, that 3.5 miles through the woods in the middle of the night in 0-degree weather, kind of hard to believe. And you think Joe may have had more to do with it than he's admitting to. So I thought I would read to you from the investigative reports that I came across. A little something interesting. Maybe it changes some of your minds. Maybe it doesn't, but it's something to think about. And it has to do with this house right here. So I'm reading from the police report. It was an interview with the owner of this house. It happened the interview took place Monday, March 1st, 1976. It says the individual, I'm not going to give the names. The individuals at this house had family friends from Colorado. They were staying at this place on January 7th, 1976. The visitors were sleeping in the living room adjacent to the front door of the home. At about 3 to 3:30 a.m., the daughter of this family heard a voice outside say, "Is there anyone in there that can help me?" When she had awakened enough to realize what was occurring, she got up, looked outside, and saw someone walking down the driveway toward the road. The person outside did not bang on any doors or windows or call out loudly. No one else in the house heard anything, and the dog did not bark. So it's possible, going through the woods, she ends up at this house, bangs on the door, no one answers. She comes down to the road, to Dennis Road here, and then it's about another, I don't know, maybe 75 yards to the intersection of Johnson Road, and she walks down here. She turns east or to the left, and Penny is found about a half a mile from this intersection in the ditch. So I just thought I'd bring that little bit of information to you.